Okay, so I've definitely gotten this question a lot, so let's go ahead and get into it. My name is Rebecca. My husband's been wrongfully convicted the last 23 years, and we are on the tail end of finally getting into court with evidence that will prove his innocence. So we're really excited. With that said, it has been an extremely long journey. Obviously, 23 years is very long, and there's been a lot that's happened in that time. One thing that I think is really important to keep it at the forefront here is that people were looking at two different things. One, they were looking at obviously his charges. He's charged with felony murder. He was convicted of felony murder. And the other thing they were looking at was the sentence. So he was sentenced to life without parole. And I think people did have some questions about that. Like I've talked about this before, but my dad was not super supportive when he realized that it was life without parole and that we were going to have to fight the system. I think most people understand that, fighting the system to get a conviction overturned is very difficult. And also, I was the sole support in our household. I wasn't making a ton of money, which is why it took us so long just to get the evidence we have now. So I think that, obviously there was a little bit of that. I've always had certain supporters. And I think my friends just were like, hey, it's your life, you know best. And I've never had a huge circle. And I definitely learned a long time ago, or maybe along this journey, that I cannot really bow down to what other people want for my life. I have to make myself happy. I have to make my own dream life, if you will. Like I can't bow down to what other people think. So just because somebody else might think that, hey, that doesn't look like a good life and I wouldn't want to do that. And it's like, that's your business. Like, don't do that. But for me, I have to do what makes me happy. I have to do what lets me sleep at night, and what lets me sleep at night is fighting for my husband and working to get our family back together and raising our son and all those things. So I guess to answer your question, my family and friends have pretty much always stood by me. Even if they had a different opinion, even if they had questions, even if they weren't sure what it looked like long term, they were still always supporting. And I think once I was able to get the evidence, we were all vindicated a little bit. Once I was able to pay the different people to get the things we needed, I think then it was like, see, I told you, So even though I think people believed, I think it solidified a lot once I could actually show them. I mean, you can look at the transcripts, you can look at the different things and see that there's problems, but when you can actually see in front of your eyes, like, oh, wow, oh, damn, it's a different vibe. So